Hey everyone, Connie here, with an update and kind of an announcement. So as you may have noticed, there's no live stream today. I didn't forget, I am a little busy today. I do have to finish mowing the lawn and there's a bunch of other shit, plus, the normal recordings. But a big thing, obviously, is that my family's coming over tomorrow. Um, the rest of my family that I don't live with. Because my dad wants to host a get together, basically a barbecue for the weekend and everything. Um, so yeah, that's going to be fun. Um, but I wanted to do something here. I wanted to make a change that I was kind of weary about making for the past couple of weeks, mainly because it, it's so by nature disorganized. And as you guys know, I want to keep the channel organized with what I do on here. It's the reason why I don't just go off schedule with my reactions and do whatever I can whenever I can. Because at that point, I just feel like I would just lose track of too many things and I wouldn't be able to keep up with it all. Because then plus I might take like days and days and days off and then not get to new reactions for a week, and who knows. But I think it might be best to try it for this, at least for the time being. And obviously that I'm obviously talking about live streams. um, Kind of the focus of this video, I guess you could say. But yeah, so I'm just for the time being at least, I'm going to unschedule live streams. And the biggest reason for this is simple because I'll be honest, I don't usually wake up normally until around 11 o'clock, maybe even sometimes upwards of 12:30. And that's because I stay up very late. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. It's my choice and it's something I like to do because I honestly prefer being up at night. Um, excuse me. But because I'm up so late, I'm usually not going to sleep until like 3, 4 a.m. And as such, unless I put on my alarm clock, I'm usually not awake until, again, 11 to 12:30, somewhere in that range. Um, and by forcing myself to be up earlier than that, every Friday, basically, it's just become something I just don't want to do anymore. I don't want to force that. And so, I mean, I already have to force myself to be up super early on Sundays for church. Um, but so from now on, live streams will not be scheduled. They will not have any certain day or time. Live streams will be basically whenever I choose to get to them. It could end up being Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It could end up being a Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. There's no schedule with this so far or anymore. The only thing I'm going to try to keep in place is that obviously it doesn't interfere with me doing my reactions because those are my priority with this channel. So it's not like I'm going to do them like starting usually probably at 4 p.m. unless I've gotten the reactions done by that point that I have to for that day. Um, which is kind of unlikely because usually that's when I begin recording reactions around 3, 4 p.m. But you get the point. Basically, whenever I feel like I can get to it, whenever I feel like I want to get to it, and again, that might be earlier. It might be the same kind of schedule, like 11 a.m. Eastern time on a Friday or on a Tuesday or on a Thursday or whatever. And with this as well, I could hold multiple live streams in a week. Keep in mind, I could also hold none in a week. It's just going to kind of depend on certain factors. Now, I'm saying that I'm doing this for now, and basically saying that it's kind of like a trial period, because I don't know how this is going to go. Because without it being scheduled, I admittedly probably will have trouble keeping up with it sometimes. And there will be times where I don't get any streams done in a week. And if it ends up getting to be too bad, where I'm just not doing streams at all for long periods of time, then it's probably not going to work. If I do end up having to bring back scheduled streams, I'll probably do it on Tuesdays or Thursdays instead of Friday, just because it'll be a lot easier to keep up with that way, since those days I don't do reactions and all. But for now, they are going to be done this way. They are going to be done unscheduled whenever I get to them. And because of that, I can't really even announce them ahead of time. I'll try to give some kind of notice, but for ones that I can, but a lot of time that's not going to happen, unfortunately. The mega streams will remain the same. Those aren't going to change. Those are still going to be 12 hours long, every few months, all of that jazz. Those aren't changing at all. It's just normal streams. Now, while I'm here, I do want to cover a couple other things. So first off, as you may have noticed, lately I have put up a couple other videos besides, just the reactions and normal stuff, even outside of top 10s, which I do every now and again. I put up some AMVs, and some of you who are newer to the channel or especially have not been around from my old channels back before my old account was deleted, you may not know, but I actually used to make AMVs a lot. And the reason that I stopped doing them so often when I came over to this new channel after the old one was terminated is mostly because of copyright fears. And I'll be honest, I still kind of fear that, which is why in the 2 AMVs I posted, I used songs from a YouTube musician, well, an online musician, Ken Ashcorp. Because usually when you use songs from those kind of musicians, you don't have to worry about copyright issues. Like in comparison to when you use like a song by, I don't know, Justin Timberlake or Beyonce or some shit. Just as an example. When you use music from huge name music artists who are huge in the public image, have these giant recording contracts and shit, have all of these companies backing them, and are like world renowned, yeah, you're going to have copyright issues, even though you shouldn't because of fair use. But I'm not going to get into that bullshit right now. But yeah, you're going to. But when you use like someone like Ken Ashcorp's music, or even if you use like a cover of a famous song from a YouTube artist, like just an example, J Flaw does some really good covers, that will actually help as well, because it's not the actual song. Now, some of them will still monetize your video for the music, and for me, as I've said in the past, I don't mind that because I don't make money off my videos anyway. If anyone wants to monetize my videos, go for it. And the reason I've gotten into doing these again, though, is because, one, I just missed doing them. They're fun to make. And the only kind of things I've really been actively doing in that kind of vein is cosplay music videos. So I wanted to get back into doing like actual AMVs and stuff. But they'll probably be as common on the channel as top tens, as countdown lists, meaning that you shouldn't expect to see them all the time. In fact, there will probably be long periods of time where you don't see one at all. Um, and honestly, I want to keep it that way because while I love making them, they take up a lot of time. I can spend a few hours working on one. And it's like, I know some of my editing isn't always great with them, a lot of dead frames and shit, but it legitimately can take that long because I'm moving clips around, especially like when I'm actually downloading the episodes themselves or movie or whatnot or whatever I use. Like with the Astra Lost in Space one, I actually downloaded the episodes. I didn't use like pre-made AMVs on YouTube to get the clips like I've done in the past with some. Hell, the Redline one, I used a lot of pre-made AMVs, but I also downloaded the movie to get a few specific clips that I couldn't find properly in the AMVs. Um, but yeah, it's like I really enjoy doing them, but they take up a lot of time when going through all that, trying to match everything to the music as best I can. So I'm not going to do it as often. Um, and then I also want to bring up donation rewards because there's still quite a few on my list that I have to get to. The problem is they're all movies. And as I've kind of talked about in the past, movies are harder to get to just on a normal basis. Like if it like with the YouTube series and stuff like the Critique of Outlast, which was a donation reward. Oh yeah, that's easy to get to. Because it's just like, oh, I do it kind of like a normal reaction series. But right now I have 4 movies on my list for donation rewards, and they're the only things still on the donation reward list. But they're 4 things that I do really need to get to at some point. And the problem is I just don't know when I'm going to. Because if I'm being honest, it's hard. Because I also do the monthly movie nights, and it's like usually, as you guys know, I usually end up not intentionally, but you usually end up waiting until the very end of the month to get to those. And it's because they take up so much time and so much effort. And usually when I do a movie reaction, I'm so exhausted by the end of it. So it's just like I just automatically, unintentionally just kind of put them off. Like just solely by instinct almost. And I don't want to keep doing that. But at the same time, I am not by any means stopping movie donation rewards from coming in. If you guys wish to donate to the channel and want your reward to be a movie, keep doing that. But we are behind. I do need to get to these 4 to kind of catch up before we do the mega stream in October. So, I'm thinking of 2 different options for this, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts. The first option is that every week in September, we do a different movie. This would probably be the easiest route because it would just be like, I'm getting to 1 a week. And I believe there's 4 weeks. Yeah, there would be about 4 weeks in September to get this done. And it'd probably be like on a Tuesday or a Thursday, of course. And there's 4 of each in September, so that it works perfectly. So I either do that, where it's like once a week I do a movie reaction, or or I take a week off from all other reactions except Carol and Tuesday because that show gets ultimate priority, and MLP because that stuff's pre-recorded. I take a week off otherwise from all other shows, all other reactions, all other content, and I just do those 4 movies that week. Kind of back to back to back to back. And so basically, it'd be the question of how quickly would you guys want me to get to these? And I assume that that the once a week thing would probably be better on all fronts, admittedly. Just because that way it's like, oh, you guys don't have to worry about watching 4 movies as well and getting into those reactions like in the same week. I don't have to worry about recording that much shit in 1 week. Plus, that way I don't have to stop recording everything else. It's just, it does seem better overall, especially now I'm really thinking about it. But I do want to hear what you guys think. It's the 30th right now, so basically we would need to know by the end of the weekend. Because if we are going to do it once a week, then I would need to know by next week, which is the first week of September. But yeah, that's the basic idea behind it. We need to figure out what's going on with that, though, because I really want to get caught up. And at this point, I just don't want to have any overlap with stuff from the last Mega Stream when the new one comes up. By the way, the new Mega Stream information will be released sometime in September, like what date it's going to be on, stuff like that. I still have to figure that out. That'll be announced sometime in September. And once it's announced, you can start donating. Or if you want, as I've said before, if you want to donate at any time, you can. But the donation period for the Mega Stream specifically will start once I post that video announcing all the information. But yeah, just wanted to mention that real quick. Kind of get that kind of stuff out of the way. I know this is a long update video and all, but there's a lot to kind of talk about here. I also want to mention real quick that I don't remember if it was a video or a stream or something somewhat recently, I mentioned once again the concept of like cutting off scheduled reactions and going to just doing it as is. And I already talked about this in this video, but I just want to bring it up specifically here in this manner. Because I talked about it recently, and I mentioned how I really didn't want to do it, but at the same time I was kind of thinking that it might be a smart idea if I maybe once I started finishing shows, I stop adding new ones, and eventually it's just like, oh, I do a few shows a week, and it's like, I just get to them when I can, basically. Just only doing a few shows at a time. Like 2 or 3. My problem with that, again, is that I might end up just, not recording anything for days or over a week at a time, and it's like, I don't want to do that. I actually really like consistent content uploads. I like being able to give you guys content all the time, even if not all of you watch everything I post. And I don't expect everyone to watch everything. Some of you are here only for 1 or 2 shows, and that's fine. But yeah, so I don't think I'm going to do that. But I've also toyed with the idea of maybe cutting it down to 1 per day instead of 2. Like 1 reaction for poll day, 1 reaction for donation reward day, 1 for currently airing, 1 for Connie's choice, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, then I would have a bigger backlog of stuff, and it's like, ugh, just too many problems. Way too many problems. But I'm not changing anything right at this moment. I did just want to let you guys know what was going on in my head regarding all of that. And the last thing I want to bring up to kind of end out this longer than desired update is Ori and the Blind Forest. So the past couple weeks, I have had trouble getting to recording to it. Whether I've forgotten recording it or whether I've just been not thinking about it at all or even not wanting to do it. And it has nothing to do with disliking the game in any way. I actually really like the game. However, at the same time, I think it's because of how I record it. As you guys know, I tend to record videos for Ori like in long periods. All of the videos I post are somewhere around 30 minutes. But I'm actually recording a lot more than that each time. I'm recording like 3 or 4 videos at a time. An hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes even 2.5. That's kind of the formula I go for recording these. And I don't like doing that. But at the same time, adding another just straight up normal recording, like recording half an hour each week, it's going to feel like a tease. For a video game, for playing something for only that short amount of time once a week, is going to feel like a massive tease. And it's just going to be hard to keep up with that as well if I tried to add something else to the ongoing recordings. So basically what I'm saying is that Ori is proving to be much more of a hindrance to the channel. It's a great game. I really enjoy it. And I've enjoyed playing it. But I don't think I can do Let's Plays for this channel. It's not even just Ori, it's just anything. I don't think I can do Let's Plays for the channel anymore. Not if I'm going to keep up this current recording schedule that I have. Not if I'm going to still do live streams, no matter when they end up being. I don't think I can do all of this and have Let's Plays that I have to worry about recording. I just don't think it's going to work. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that I'm done with Ori on this channel. Ori can still appear in maybe live streams, because here's the thing. If I can record something, I can live stream it, because recording and live streaming actually take up about the same amount of CPU. So I can record Ori, so I should be able to live stream it. The only problem is sometimes my computer likes to go really slow on games, and with Ori tends to lag heavily. So I just have to try to make sure, like maybe have my computer shut down and all beforehand, before I would stream with Ori or something, so that way it won't be like so heavily going. But yeah, I think that's really the only option I have at this point. Because as I said, there's just no way I can make this work with how I currently have things. And I hate that. I honestly hate that. I can't make that work. And so that brings up, like, does that mean Sundays are just done? Does that mean Sundays are not going to have reactions anymore? Well, video uploads. And the answer is yes. It's just simple as that. There's not going to be any more uploads on Sundays. Because the most I could do is probably like split my reactions from Saturdays into Saturday and Sunday, but I don't think that'd really be necessary because I'd still have to pre-record it either way. And if I separated it into 2 days, then I just have to worry about uploading on each day, and it's honestly just more work and more worry to have to put in all of that. So I think it'd just be better to keep it on the one day. Just makes it easier. The schedule otherwise isn't changing or anything. We're just dropping Ori as a Let's Play and everything, and dropping Let's Plays in general. I really did enjoy doing them. For Chrono Trigger, for the time that I did that, and now for Ori. I really did, but there's just no way I can make it work. Again, I'll try to continue Ori on live streams on occasion. I don't know when. I don't know if it'll be even on the next live stream. It just like with any live stream, it's basically whatever I'm feeling in the mood for at the time. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know that because it's kind of important. Oh, and one more thing, and then we'll finish because I just thought of something. This coming Monday is a holiday here in America. I keep forgetting if it's Memorial Day or Labor Day. I don't know why I get those two mixed up. It's Labor Day, okay, because Memorial Day is in May. Yeah, Labor Day. So this coming Monday is Labor Day here in America. And it's a holiday and people get off of work and I don't know why. Like Labor Day is one of those holidays that really has no reason to be a holiday. Um, it's it's basically a celebration of workers' rights. The concept of having weekends off work, lunch breaks, paid vacation, 8-hour workdays, Social Security. It's a celebration of all of that stuff that came through labor unions and the movement of all of that. Um, and just to kind of celebrate the contributions that workers make to, well, our society. And it's okay to be proud of that and celebrate that. It doesn't need to be a holiday, and it doesn't need to be like this national holiday where people are getting off of work and there's no mail and shit. And it's like, why? There's so many better, like, minor holidays you could celebrate as national holidays. What about MLK Day? Martin Luther King Day? You know, celebrating the guy who kind of led the civil rights movement and worked in amazingly important ways to stop segregation and racism, or at least do something about it. That would be a much bigger thing to celebrate as a national holiday. But our country does tend to be obsessed with work. It's honestly kind of disgusting. But yeah. So what I'm saying here is that Monday might be difficult to record on because of that. Now, I don't know if I'm doing anything on Labor Day. I don't know, like, if we're doing any barbecue at anyone's house or anything, especially since we're having a barbecue tomorrow. Um, but I'm just going to say right now that the Monday shows, yeah, it might be difficult to get them up. I'm not saying that they won't be up. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I won't be able to get them up at all. But I'm saying it's going to be difficult, and I don't know for sure. If I cannot get to them on Monday, a big reason why I might not be able to is my dad will be here. If I can't get to them on Monday, I'll try to get to them on Tuesday. It's kind of a special occasion because it's a holiday. Um, but if I can't get to them on Tuesday either, especially if I'm going to end up doing these these movie reactions once a week, which at this point is probably likely, then we'll just have the week off from Free and DuckTales, which sucks because I really want to see more of both, especially Free, which I am really, really getting into. But I mean, I can't do much of anything about it. if I can't record, then I can't record. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. Um, Everything today is going to be up. Aggretsuko and Carol on Tuesday. We're going to have tomorrow stuff. She-Ra and MLP. All of that stuff's going to be up. No problem. I'm just saying I don't know about Monday yet. Um, but yeah. So sorry that this update video was so long. It just ended up being that way, a lot to talk about. Tell me your thoughts on everything I mentioned down in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.